Hey guys, welcome to this video where we are going to be looking at several examples of stage 1 authority site. Now, if you don't know what a stage 1 authority site, I highly recommend you go back to the previous video where we actually break down the model with the 3 different stages. But essentially, a stage 1 authority site is a site that focuses on product reviews and product roundups with a little bit of informational content, which is going to be the base of the future of your authority website. And I have 4 sites I'd like to look at that mainly focus on that kind of content, and I just want to, look around and show you how they work, etc. And I'm gonna start with small ones, and I'm gradually gonna go up to really big sites that actually made, the stage 1 essentially their main business model. They never went to stage 2, and that is a possibility for you as well. So we're gonna look at that. So the first one we're gonna look at is paintballpursuit.com. Obviously a fan of Spencer Hawes from Niche Pursuits, who has been building a paintball site. And we've been talking a long time about building a paintball site on the podcast and so on, because I think it's a pretty good niche. There is pretty expensive items. It is pretty low competition, as we'll see in a second. And you can see that person built a site that's something like 10 or 15 pages with Thrive Content Builder. So we're going to use the same tools to actually build our site. And you can see essentially that is the homepage is essentially a big rounder preview. Now, I would not build my site that way, and you'll see I build the case study site a little bit differently, where despite the fact that I make my site mostly about reviews, I actually hide it on the homepage so that when people actually review my site, when I try to do link building, people are more likely to link to me. But in that case, these guys, they're really not trying to hide it, and you can see these guys link to Amazon like crazy, and you can see that this gun costs $109. If I actually buy this, they're gonna get like a 7 to 9% commission. And if I go around, essentially most of their content is reviews. So you can see that they have single product review, like the Die Proto Rail review, and that's basically it. Actually, they just have this homepage and these 10 blog posts, I guess. And then they have some other one, like the best paintball field, the different types of paintball gun. I guess they have these 2 informational content pieces. So it's following the model pretty closely. Now, if we actually look at that site on Ahrefs, which is an analysis tool that we're going to talk about more later, and that we're going to recommend you actually purchase. It's going to help you for your link building. You can see these guys literally have like 34 backlinks to the website, which is, to give you an idea, it's something you can probably build in a month, not trying very hard actually. So it is not very hard to actually catch up on these people, but if we actually look at the kind of keywords they rank for, you can see that best paintball gun, they rank number 2. So really quite good keyword, 4,400 searches per month. Best paintball gun, 1,300. Paintball gun reviews, 720, they rank number 2, etc. So you can see they rank for a lot of useful keywords, top paintball gun brands, etc. And I can imagine that site generates something like $1,000 to $5,000 per month. So they are getting close to actually the end of stage 1, despite the fact that there is a lot more keywords they could be targeting. But that just shows you that even a site like this, which is really not rocket science and not amazing, can qualify as a stage 1 authority site. It is something that you can build pretty quickly, especially if you follow this course. And that is what we're gonna go for initially. All right, now the second site we are going to go through is coffeemakersprix.com. It is a pretty cool domain. It's much more branded and looks much nicer in terms of design. You can see they have these little images here, which I guarantee you can probably find on stock image sites. So it's not rocket science. They probably don't have a designer that builds these. It's just built with a page builder and some nice stock images essentially, but it does feel much nicer, and it does feel like it's not just selling you stuff. You can see there is a bunch of info content, like how to brew the best coffee using a coffee maker, the cost to make a coffee cup, etc., etc. So it's not just selling stuff. It is just like some interesting stuff. If I go around, you can see that they are not selling on this page. They are just giving information. However, if I go like top 10 coffee makers, in that case, they have a classic roundup review site. So it's exactly what we want to do. And I think if we click through here, we actually find the single product review. So definitely all the types of content we've been talking about in the previous video. And it seems to be working pretty well for them as well. So if we actually go and check them on Ahrefs, we can see they have something like 335 links, which is about 10 times what the paintball site had. So it is bigger, but it still is something that you can build in a year, no problem. And we could actually go check the organic traffic, and you can see they actually get quite a lot of traffic. They get 50,000 visits per month, which for a site that focuses on reviews is really good. This site is definitely making like 5 figures a month, no problem. And if we actually go look at the organic keywords, you can see they rank for best coffee maker, number 3, with 22,000 people searching for it. Drip coffee maker, 6,600 people searching for it, number 1. Best drip coffee maker, best French press, all this stuff. They are ranking for these keywords. So same thing, that gives you a good idea of what a stage 1 authority site is. You can go and check it out. I really like the branding. That is definitely a site that we could build for ourselves, actually. So that is what I like. Then we're going to jump into the bigger sites, actually. We're going to talk about Outdoor Gear Lab, which is a site that definitely makes 5, probably even 6 figures per month just with reviews. To give you an idea of how powerful this model is and how big it can go, then that is a site called Outdoor Gear Lab that essentially reviews outdoor gear, as its name says. And you can see they have a lot of pages. Like, you know, I go in camping and hiking, and you can see they are reviewing all these categories. So if I go in backpacks, for example, then you have different kinds of backpacks. And if I take backpacking backpack, then you finally have a roundup review here. And actually each backpack in each roundup review has its own review as well. So, and you know, they definitely bought the product and they made their own photos, etc. So that's definitely next level. We're not gonna go that deep in that course, but that gives you an idea of what's possible in terms of building these things. They've also built a comment system where actually people can, you know, post their photos and stuff and talk about the product about. But that is a site that makes good money. They also added advertising. And that is still what I would consider a stage 1 authority site, especially considering that 100% of their content is reviews. They just focused on really high quality editorial reviews to build links instead of doing informational content like we're going to talk about. But you can go check Outdoor Gear Lab. I mean, if we go check them on Ahrefs, yeah, they have 2,388 links. So now we're getting into a realm where, you know, these are big sites. And then but in organic search, I mean, they get over 500,000 visits per month, and they rank for very big keywords. You can see like this is the heat map, and most of their keywords rank number 1, and they rank for really big keywords like Outdoor Gear Lab. Their brand is search, and it's their biggest search term, but like handheld GPS 6,600 number 1, outdoor gear 6,600, Eno hammock 40,000, etc. And I could keep finding all the stuff they rank for. And, you know, we're going to be using these reports, by the way, to get ideas on what to write about. So don't worry if you don't know anything about gear. We're going to go through that in the course. But that gives you an idea of what's possible. These guys make, I would say, easily 6 figures per month. And finally, we got the king of stage 1 authority site, the Wirecutter.com. You've probably heard about it. It was just sold to the New York Times for $30 million. So that gives you really, like, that shows you how far that model can be pushed. You know, you will probably move to stage 2 before you reach that kind of valuation. But they only do roundup reviews as well. They do like the best backpack of open backpack headphones, and they essentially buy like 20 products or 30 products, and they review them really in depth for like several months. And once again, they have call to actions to Amazon and stuff. We definitely won't be doing content on that depth, but that shows you that, you know, if your site does really well, you can go that far. And because we're not a generic review site, we're more of a niche-oriented review site. So we wouldn't build something like the Wirecutter as a model. We would build more something like Outdoor Gear Lab, because it is focused on outdoor gear, or the paintball site focused on paintball, or the other site focused on coffee machine. We always pick a niche. It works better for us, and most importantly, you know, these top 10 review sites are the flavor of the month, and I believe something's going to happen to them with Google, so that's why we don't recommend them. But that shows you exactly how much you can do. And like, if we actually go check their stats, I mean, this is going to be quite crazy. They get 1 million visits per month. They rank for 1.3 million keywords in Google, and, you know, they rank for really big keywords like Bluetooth speaker, number 6, 135,000 people searching for it. Best headphones, 49,500 people searching for it. Cheap gaming laptop, 12,000 people searching for it, etc. So, they're really big and you can push that model really far. So, you are in good hands. What you can do is you can go and check these sites if you want some inspiration and to understand a little bit more what we're about to build. Otherwise, let's jump on the next lesson where we're going to talk about expectations. See you in the next lesson.